Super. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Align with Profits Planning Day workshop. Congratulations for being here and committing the time to really up-level your business and to focus on your business and what you want to create for the rest of the year. So I'm going to connect here to my PowerPoint. There we go. All right. Super. So if you're interested in becoming more fulfilled, even more fulfilled, making a bigger impact and making more money in your business, I know I can't see you, but raise your hand if that's you. And what if you can do this and still have time for the things that are important to you, such as your family, your health, free time? Would that be of interest to you? Well, you're in the right place. Is it possible to create an aligned business that makes a difference and pays you generously? Well, I'm here to tell you it is. So today I'm going to walk you through step by step how to do this. You're going to get crystal clear on your vision for you and your business. And really, this is huge because without a clear vision, it's like driving your car in the dark without the headlights on. You know, you're just going about it aimlessly. So it's super important to kind of step back and get really clear on what you want to create. Now, you may have done this a while ago, but it's important to revisit this. I do this every quarter because things often change. My perspective changes, the things that I want to accomplish in my business change. So it's really important to take this time to get really clear on what it is you want to create, right? And we're learning so much along the way, we have to make course corrections with that. The other area that we're going to focus on is developing a mindset of success and being a successful leader, the CEO of your company. Now, you may be thinking, I can't be a CEO, my business is too small. But that's not true. From the beginning, even if it's just you, you want to think of yourself as a leader. You want to think of yourself as the CEO of your business. And there's a few mindset shifts that have to come along with that to support that way of thinking. Because you can't be the old version of you as you're stepping into a bigger version of yourself. You have to change. You have to improve your mindset and be more empowered and confident moving forward. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to learn how you can own your value so you can earn your worth. This is an area that is near and dear to my heart. And this is an area I think that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially women, struggle with. We're also going to identify the marketing strategies that work best for you. Because not all marketing strategies are going to work for you. Just because they may be working for someone else doesn't mean they're going to be working for you or that it's a good fit for you. So we're going to dive a little bit more into that. You're also going to be able to create your aligned marketing plan. Now, when I talk about being aligned or being in alignment, this means that you are in alignment with your true self, who you are, and you're in alignment with your passion and your purpose. This is key because that's when everything runs smoothly, and that's when you can tap into the ease, flow, and grace in your business. And this is what's going to allow you to skyrocket your business for the rest of this year. So, hope you're as excited as I am. All right, so what to expect. So we're going to be here together for a big chunk of time. The plan is around 3 hours. So I want you to really take this time to really just focus. Turn off all distractions, turn your phone off, turn your computer alerts off. Let your family know that you are going to be out of pocket for the next 3 hours, because this is your time. This is your time to focus on you and your business. You absolutely deserve it, and your family deserves it, because when you're able to do this and get clear and set these things that we're going to be talking about in place for your business, things will shift dramatically. And you're going to be able to create that lifestyle business that you've dreamed of. So really commit to being here, really commit to being open and being present in the moment. Take some good notes. If you have the workbook, the Align with Profits workbook, you can follow along with that as well. So I also want to let you know that we are going to be taking a couple breaks. So probably about an hour in and then 2 hours in, give or take, depending on if it's a good stopping point. But these breaks will be anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. So you'll have an opportunity to get up and stretch, maybe go out and get some fresh air for a moment, grab something to drink, use the restroom, whatever you need to do. So there will be some breaks. And this workshop will be recorded, so you can go back to the link if there's anything that you feel like you want to go over again. You'll have the opportunity to do that. So you'll be getting a link emailed to you after the workshop. So just know that you'll have that available. All right. Well, let's get going here. We've got lots to talk about, and I'm super excited. So we're going to move on. All right, so this was an actual statement made by one of my former attendees of one of my workshops. So Pari Sandage is the CEO and founder of Sandage Consulting, and she shared, I really, really enjoyed your workshop. You were able to give me insight I needed to see what I want to be selling. I left your workshop with an actual plan for a program, and I have already started to create details of what I want to be teaching at my own workshop. And I know that this program will be a success. Thank you. In addition, your advice to me to actually look for customers who will pay has really struck a nerve. I'm now going to look for people in pain, but I know looking for the pain of success. Those who are growing but don't know how to manage their growth is a much better place to look. Again, thank you, Pari Sandage. So this is just one of my clients that has experienced great results from, first of all, saying yes to herself, because that's really what it's all about. It's not about me. I just create the space for the learning and the breakthroughs to happen. So again, be open to receiving the information today, because I really believe if you're intentional with what you want to get out of today's training, you'll be able to hear just exactly what you need to be able to move your business to the next level. All right, so again, I had mentioned it before, really taking this time, knowing this time is for you. I like to call it, this is your sacred space. So I'm inviting you into my sacred space, which is my office that I've decorated with all of my favorite things. And it's in this yellow cheery color. And I want to invite you in today to my sacred space to really allow you to kind of tap into my journey and what I've experienced and what I've learned along the way. And I'm going to be sharing with you some really powerful tools and strategies today that have really changed my life and my business. So again, I want you to create a sacred space today over the next 3 hours to really receive this information that I'm sharing with you today. All right, so I love this quote by psychologist Claude Bernard. It's what you think you already know that prevents you from learning. Now, I may be talking about some things today that you're like, oh, I've already heard that, Megan. I already know that. I don't need to learn that again. But I'll tell you what, you are always in a different place and in your life at any given moment. So you're going to receive information differently at different times. And the way the information is presented will also be a factor whether you're going to receive it or not. So I want you again to keep an open mind and really expect that you're going to hear exactly what you need to hear today to really have the transformation you're seeking in your business. So I want to share with you my story, a little bit about my journey, so you know where I'm coming from and why I'm talking to you today about aligning with profits. So I've been an entrepreneur for over 25 years, and I've run 7 successful businesses. However, things haven't always been easy for me. I've actually faced a tremendous amount of adversity, like being a widow at age 30, a single mom for 9.5 years, many financial ups and downs, many unhealthy relationships. You name it, I've been through it. So what I've learned on my entrepreneurial journey is we get to decide how we want our life and business to be like. So you can go from focusing on what you feel you need to do, which is based on fear, lack, and scarcity, to focusing on what you truly want, coming from a place of empowerment and confidence. And this is what I learned, because this is exactly what I was doing in my life, doing all the things I felt like I needed to do, following along with all the gurus out there saying, oh, you want a successful business, you really need to do this. And they want to fit you into a box. And they want to tell you that the only way you're going to be successful is if you do X, Y, Z. And that's what I would do. I'm like, oh my gosh, if they could do it, I could do it. Certainly was confident enough in myself, knowing that I could get the same results that they were getting. But little did I know, I was not focusing on the right things. So it really came down to focusing on what I truly wanted and knowing that what I wanted was good enough and what I wanted was possible, that I could create exactly what I wanted in my business and get the results that I desired. So coming from that place of empowerment and confidence was really what made a huge difference. So we're all blessed with tremendous gifts. And I believe we must use these gifts and really be of service with these gifts to truly make the biggest impact we're meant to make. Now, this powerful shift that I had allowed me to redesign my life and business to be more passion-based, purpose-driven, result-oriented, impactful, and fulfilling. So over the years, I've been able to help thousands of business owners just like you create a profitable business that they truly love and get paid generously for it. I've been able to share my journey and what I've learned on a wider scale with I'm going to go back here, with my best-selling book, The Passion Belief Method, Own Your Value and Earn Your Worth in Business. So it was my dream to write a book. I wanted to do this for about 10 years, but it was never the right time. So finally, it was time a few years ago, and I just knew this was the year I needed to write my book. But it was really instrumental in getting crystal clear on how I served my clients and defining my method, which now I call the passion belief method. But what was really cool about the book, I was able to get my message out there in a bigger way. And so I'm excited to say that it was a #1 bestseller on Amazon. You can find my book at Barnes & Noble and other bookstores as well. I was featured on many radio shows and TV shows. I'm a regular contributor for Huffington Post and the business journals. So by writing the book, it really created some opportunities for me, again, to share my message in a more powerful way. So it was a great opportunity. And now, today, I am remarried to my wonderful husband, Andrew. So we've been married. It will be 9 years, April 30th, coming up in just 12 days, right? I got to get on the plans here. But anyway, Andrew's been such a blessing to me. Finally found the right match for me. So when I got into alignment with what I wanted to create, I wasn't only just focusing on my business, but I also was focusing on what I wanted to create in terms of a family. And I always wanted more than one kid. And I didn't realize that I would be able to get that because when I met Andrew, Cameron was already 10 years old. And so I was blessed that Andrew had 2 girls, Lauren and Ashley. And so now we have a family of 5. And it's been such a blessing. I have these 3 amazing children, wonderful husband. And I also have my wonderful cat, Quincy, and dog, Flopsy, who make our family complete. So, you know, the reason why I wanted to share this with you is because I want you to know that this is possible for you as well. Whatever you want to create for yourself is possible. And really today, I'm so excited to be able to share with you how you're going to be able to create your aligned business so you can really start generating the profits that you have set out to create in your business. So now what we're going to do is a reflection exercise. I think it's so important for you to start thinking about, you know, where you are. And I want to talk about for a moment before we dive in to, actually, I'm going to stop there for a moment. I'm going to go onto my big screen here. Oh. We're going to go back to the reflection exercise because what I want to do for a moment is talk about being a leader, because that is so important. Having that mindset, like I talked about, you know, in knowing what's possible for you as an entrepreneur. So do you believe that you can really use your gift in a powerful way that will impact others? Do you believe that you can create a lifestyle business that not only is super fulfilling for you, but also allows you to have the lifestyle that you desire and be able to have the time to spend with your family and do the things that you love to do? Do you believe that's possible? Because that's the first place you want to start. You have to believe that it's possible. And you have to believe that you have everything you need to be successful. So I'm not here to teach you exactly how to be successful because you have it already within you. I'm here to draw it out and point out the things that you have to be aware of and the things that you have to focus on in order to realize that success. So everybody wants to be successful, right? They say, you know, I want to have a happy life. I want to have a happy marriage or relationship. or I want to have a successful business, right? That's not unusual. We all want those things. But whether or not we're going to get them is a different story. So many of the folks that are out there wanting this, they're not willing to do everything that it takes to get it, right? So I'm going to show you here what I believe. Hopefully you can see this okay. This is what I believe will help you get there, because what I have found in working with so many entrepreneurs over the years, there's three commonalities that they have, that they possess, that allow them to really start realizing their success. And the first one is having a burning desire. So, do you have a burning desire? A desire within you that you know you are made for something more? You were brought on this earth to do something more, to make a difference, to make an impact. And you have something that you believe in wholeheartedly. And this is something that's so powerful, it often keeps you up at night. So that burning desire is key. You can't just kind of want something. It has to be a burning desire within you, right? You can't help but want that. So the second commonality is you're ready to take responsibility. Okay. So what this means is no longer can you blame anyone else for your results, okay? This is going to be a tough one, I know. No longer can you blame society. No longer can you blame circumstances or situation. You can't say, well, if I only had more money, I'd be more successful. If I only was in a better relationship, I would be more successful. If I only was brought up by a wealthy family, I'd be more successful. Whatever it is, we can think of a million excuses of why we are not realizing our dreams or being successful. But the truth of the matter is, you are where you are today because of your own choices and your own decisions. Yes, those choices and decisions have probably been impacted by your belief system, which is a whole other thing. We'll get into that a little bit more later. But at the end of the day, you've had choices to make throughout your life. And those choices and decisions led you to where you are right now. And if you're not where you want to be, first of all, I don't want you to beat yourself up. This is not what this is about, but it's about recognizing where you are. And actually, I want to give you permission to know that, guess what? You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. But you also have everything you need to be successful. So that responsibility piece, you are also responsible for your future results. And that's what's so exciting, is nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can dictate what your success is going to be except you. So that's the flip side of it. That's the power of being able to take that responsibility, because then you have control over your destiny, which is super exciting, right? So that's what I want you to focus on. I don't want you to think about, all the things you did wrong and live in the past. I want you to be in the present moment and live for right now and realize, guess what? I have control over my future. And the choices and decisions that I make from this point forward are going to allow me to reach my desired level of success. So that's what's exciting here, guys. So the third area that you must have, or personality trait or characteristic you must possess, is that you are willing to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to be successful. So this is a big one. So there's no excuses here, guys. This is where I think the big difference lies. It's like, oh yeah, I really have a burning desire, and I know that I want something more, and okay, yes, I could take responsibility. This is the big one, because are you willing to do whatever it takes? Because that means stepping outside your comfort zone. And not many people are willing to do this. Many folks are comfortable being uncomfortable. Have you ever heard that before? And it's so true. It's like, we can see it in other people. Like, how could they stay in that situation? Aren't they miserable? I always think, sorry, people who live in Ohio. Ohio is where I grew up, and I always felt like, the sun's never out. And, you know, it's always gloomy. I couldn't wait to move away from Ohio and get to where it was sunny. I ended up moving to Florida, where it's sunny all the time, and now I live in Austin, Texas, which still has a ton of sun. And for me, I look back at like all the people that are still there that I grew up with, like, oh my gosh, don't you know that you don't have to stay there? You can go anywhere in the world that you want. So it's a choice, right? But you have to be willing to take that step, which is sometimes scary. People are not comfortable with change. Also, stepping outside your comfort zone often means combating fear. Fear of, am I good enough? Am I worth it? Fear of, can I really make this happen? Fear of spending money maybe you don't have. So that's another big piece. Are you willing to invest in yourself? Are you willing to commit the time, energy, and effort? Now, when you're willing to do whatever it takes, and you're willing to commit the time, commit the money, if there's an investment involved, that's when everything shifts, because you are telling the universe, I am worth it. I'm willing to invest in myself because I know what I have is something worth investing in. And when you do that, the universe will respond. And others will also want to invest in you. It's amazing how this works. I've seen it happen time and time again. It's so powerful. Where, you know, it's really just, you can manifest such amazing things when you're willing to take this leap of faith, and you're willing to commit to doing whatever it takes to be successful. So, hope you wrote those things down, and I hope that you can answer yes to all of those things, because that's kind of the first step here, guys. If you're not able to answer yes, then we have a problem in terms of you really being able to start getting the success that you truly desire in your business. All right, so I'm going to get back to my presentation here. There we go. So I want you to think about why you're in business. We're going to talk about this a little bit more, but like, what is your mission? What are you really setting out to do? What do you want people to know about you? Okay, so think about that for a moment, because that's kind of the basis of what this is all about. All right, so We're going to dive into our reflection exercise. Those of you who have the workbook, you can follow along because we want to reflect on where we are in our business right now. And there's a few questions that I want you to think about. So get your notepads out. So thinking about where you are currently in your business and then asking yourself these very powerful questions. So the first question being, what was one of the biggest challenges or obstacles I faced? Let's say in the last 12 months. So there may have been multiple challenges, but we want to really focus on the biggest challenge or obstacle. So I want you to take a moment and write down what's coming up for you. What blocks or barriers do you have that are keeping you stuck, that are keeping you from reaching your desired level of success? Go ahead and write down what's coming up for you. I'll let you do that. Okay. Now, the next question I want you to ask yourself is, how does that make me feel? What is the belief that I have around that? So thinking about that challenge or struggle, how is that impacting your belief or how you're feeling? Let me take a moment to talk about, I said I was going to touch more on belief, so hold your roll on taking the notes there on this question, because we all have a belief system by which we operate from, and sometimes that's a healthy and positive belief system. Often it's not. It's unhealthy and disempowering. Now, our belief system is developed from either at a very early age, from the beliefs that our parents have instilled upon us. So we can have some negative beliefs about ourselves. Unfortunately, there's some folks that have grown up with some negative things said about them or to them, or even just simply, like for me growing up, we lived in a middle-class family. My mom and dad worked really hard. They both worked for like a warehouse company. So they really had to do a lot of physical hard work. And I just remember my dad always saying things like, money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard for your money. You have to put your time in, and then you'll be able to then eventually retire and live off of Social Security and your pension. Not so much the case anymore, right? But that really instilled upon me a belief around money, that money was scarce, that there was a lack of money, or you had to work really, really hard for your money. And there wasn't an abundance of money out there. So also you can develop a belief system because of different experiences in your life. And that's really what we're talking about here. So if you are facing a challenge or a barrier or obstacle in your business right now, that could really impact your belief. And these negative beliefs live in our subconscious mind, and they dictate our decisions. They dictate our results, right? Just like I was talking about, taking responsibility. So it's more of an awareness, that being aware of the beliefs that we have, and knowing that these negative beliefs that we have, whether they came from, growing up or through different experiences, if they are not positive, empowering beliefs, they are going to keep us stuck. They are going to keep us playing small. They are going to sabotage our success before it even happens. And they are definitely going to prevent us from reaching our true potential. So that's why I really want you to think about, what you felt or what you believe, because the belief system, your belief leads to a thought, and your thought leads to action. So this is why it's really important to understand how that struggle or challenge is making you feel. So now go ahead and write down what's coming up for you. Okay, so we act based on our beliefs. So the beliefs lead to the thoughts, right? The thoughts lead to how we feel. And then based on how we feel is how we're going to react. So we're either going to take action or not take action, right? So this is the next question I responded by. So you're either going to react a certain way based on how you felt. So think about how you reacted in your business. What action did you take, or maybe what action did you not take because of how you were feeling or what you believed due to the struggle or barrier or limitation you were facing. So go ahead and put what's coming up for you there. Okay, now we're going to think about what your results were. Because with the action or inaction, right, with any action, there's going to be results. Now, the results can be good or not so good, but there is some sort of result, right? So think about, you're responding and what action you took, what the actual results were. I'm guessing in this scenario here, it's going to not be a positive result, but think about what's coming up for you. Go ahead and write that down. All right. Now I want you to think about, what lesson have I learned from this experience? Because with the result, whether it's good or bad, there's always a lesson, right? We always hear there's no such thing as a failure. It's a learning opportunity, right? And this is what we're talking about here. So there are lessons that we can learn from every experience. So what is the lesson that you've learned from your results? Go ahead and write down what's coming up for you. All right, now think about how you can help others with what you've learned. Okay, this is huge because I really believe we often are meant to teach others the lessons we are meant to learn ourselves. Think about that for a moment. We are meant to teach others the lessons we are meant to learn ourselves. So, we've heard of the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same result. We all have certain things in our lives that keep repeating, patterns and experiences that kind of keep repeating in our lives because we're not willing to learn the lesson. I'm sure you guys could relate here. I want to use an example. My husband, Andrew, who I love to death, he is very impatient. And he fully admits it. He knows it. And we often joke about it. But it's a real challenge for him. But he is not willing to learn the lessons that show up for him multiple times a day, where he always gets faced with hitting every red light, or having to wait a long time to get a meal, or not being able to find a parking spot. Like, all of these things happen. I think it's God testing him to see how he reacts, to see if he gets impatient or upset. And sure enough, he does. And so the cycle continues, right? It just keeps happening over and over again. So anyway, think about in your life the lessons that you're meant to learn, because these things just keep testing you and showing up. It's not by accident. It's not by coincidence. It's really to help you learn something. But then, you can go and teach someone else who is struggling in that same area. So I believe we are all, meant to teach these lessons that we're meant to learn, but also all of the experiences in our life, good or bad, are just stepping stones leading us to who we're meant to be. So as I'd mentioned earlier, this is not about beating yourself up. This is about being aware of where you're at and recognizing that, and knowing that every part of your journey was kind of designed to help you learn everything you needed to learn to allow you to become who you're meant to be. So for my journey, I shared with you that I had been through a lot of adversity. I was a widow at age 30. My husband actually was an alcoholic, so I had many, many trying times for many years prior to that. And, being a single mom, and, having many financial successes, but many, many financial failures, and almost losing everything we owned at one point. I could look back and say, oh, woe is me. I was such a victim, and think about it in a very negative way, which I think a lot of people tend to do. But actually for me, I don't regret anything. I think those experiences allowed me to learn what I needed to learn to become who I am today, which, is a teacher and a coach. And I feel like I'm even more equipped to help more individuals that are struggling with many different things in their life, because I've kind of experienced a lot of them. And I know how to get from, one side of it to the other. So I feel like I've become stronger for it and become more confident on the other side. So think about, again, the lessons that you learn and how you can actually help others with these lessons, okay? So this reflection exercise is to really understand, what your journey's been like so far in your business or recently, and, being able to be aware and acknowledge where you are, and then accept where you are is huge. Because if you don't know where you are, you can't make a plan for where you want to go. So this is all about getting real and seeing, where you are right here and now. Okay? So I hope this was helpful for you, because then we're also going to be planning out what you do want to create here shortly. So, okay, so now we're going to talk about your mindset of a successful leader and CEO, which we started talking about this a little bit, but it's all about what you believe is possible, and really coming from that place of empowerment. So being crystal clear on your vision and your mission. Why do you do what you do? That is a huge aspect of it, because as a leader, you want to inspire others to either take an action or to follow you or to join forces with you or to work with you, whatever it is. It's not about convincing. It's not about manipulating. I like the word inspiring. So being an inspired leader means you are leading by example. You are passionate about what you're doing, what your mission is. You come from a place of service, come from a place of really wanting to help people. So thinking about, that burning desire that you have, and how you want to use that to change the world or make a difference or make an impact. That is the mindset. So if you have limiting beliefs that tell you you're not good enough, you're not worth it, you're going to fail, what if I make a fool out of myself, whatever these limiting beliefs, and we all have them, trust me. But know that as you're moving forward and becoming your leader of your CEO, the CEO and leader of your business, stepping into your power, standing into your power, there is no room for those limiting beliefs. Those are what's going to keep you stuck. Those are what's going to keep you playing small. Okay? So it's really just when those limiting beliefs show up, again, to recognize them, realize, hey, limiting belief, you're no longer serving me and who I'm becoming, so I'm going to choose not to focus on you. You want to acknowledge it, but then you want to choose to let it go, because you have to create space in your belief system for new, empowered, healthy beliefs. And even if you're not 100% there in believing how amazing and powerful you are, you can believe that you are working on it, right? You can believe you are in the process of becoming a successful leader. And that'll be good enough, because then you're going to start taking the actions that allow you to get there. Does that make sense? All right. Okay, so what is your why? this is huge. So this quote here, he who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. So I think it's so important for us to get in touch with why we have our business in the first place, right? Why are we doing what we're doing? And it has to be bigger than the money. It can't be about the money. Oh, I have my own business because, I want to make a lot of money. Guess what? That's not a good enough reason. But you can think about, okay, why do you want to make the money? What is that money going to represent for you? So maybe it represents financial freedom. Maybe it represents you being able to contribute to the family. Maybe it represents when I have enough money, I'll be able to live a lifestyle that allows me to be fulfilled, that gives me freedom, that allows me to do the things I love to do. Maybe that money represents you being able to support a cause that you believe in, or maybe even start a nonprofit organization in an area that you're super passionate about. So think about what that why is. The why has to be bigger than you. And again, definitely bigger than the money. And it has to be your why, not anybody else's. Okay, so this is so important. I want you to take a moment and write down what you believe your why is. What inspires you? Write that down. Okay, I'm going to share a personal story about one of my whys. This was my why when I was 30, so about 18 years ago. I was working for corporate America. It was actually one of my few jobs. I was a trainer and manager for an international skincare company. I'd actually been working with them for quite some time, for 9.5 years. And I was the manager of the state of Florida. And so I traveled quite a bit. And this was the time that I tragically lost my husband. Came home from work one day after traveling and doing training to find out that I no longer had a husband. And my son was 2.5 at the time, and my mom and dad were, or my mom and dad and sister were watching my son. So I just remember getting that news, and it just rocked my world, not in a good way. And my whole world turned upside down. And my way of dealing with it was just kind of throwing myself into my business. Like, okay, got to be strong for Cameron, got to, take care of things. So I never really dealt with the emotions. That's a whole other issue. But I just went back to work full board and just kept moving forward. And so a couple months into it, traveling and being away, I started feeling really guilty leaving Cameron. And I'm like thinking, I really don't want to miss out on anything, and I really want to be there for him. So what I found myself doing is driving. I lived in Naples, Florida, which is as far south as you can be on the West Coast. And I would drive all the way to, let's say, Orlando, which is like 4 hours away, go and do a training or two, a few hours, and then drive all the way home just so I could tuck my son in at night. And it just got to be, way too much. And I started feeling more and more guilty. So I just decided, you know what? I need to make Cameron my number one priority, and I need to put him first, which meant quitting my job. And so even though I loved my job and I was getting, a steady paycheck and had health insurance and all of that, I was left with nothing, by the way, with the loss of my husband. And so it was all on me. And so everybody around me thought I was crazy. Like, why would you give up your income? Now you have no health insurance. But in my heart of hearts, I knew it was the right thing to do. I didn't doubt it for 1 second. And my why of why I wanted to do this, why I wanted to quit my job and actually start a business from home, where I can have the flexibility and in my schedule and really put Cameron as my number one priority. That why was so much greater than the fear that I just up and quit my job and did it anyway, no matter what everybody else said, right? So then that why was what motivated me and drove me each and every day to wake up in the morning and do what I needed to do to make my business successful. So I was marketing, I was in direct sales, I was marketing personal development products at the time. I had to learn how to do online marketing. It's a whole new thing for me. I always marketed face-to-face. I was very good at sales. I taught sales and marketing to the spas that I worked with in the beauty industry. So this whole world of online marketing, this was 18 years ago, guys. So it's like when it was just starting to become big. It was a whole different world. And I'm like, okay, if so-and-so is doing it, I can do it too. Just kept going, right? So I kept moving forward, kept thinking about my why. It would allow me to wake up and do what I needed to do and stay positive and just keep driving forward, moving forward. 6 months later, I realized I had not made a dime in my business yet. And then I realized, probably good time to invest in myself and get the help that I need. Instead of trying to figure it out and listen to every free training on online marketing that I can get my hands on. And so when I was willing to invest in myself and get the help I needed, everything changed. And I was able to actually, in the second 6 months of that year, triple my income from what I made in my job. So that really was when I realized that I had a gift for running a business, and I learned how to put, proper systems and processes in place. And that is when my coaching and consulting started, because I had a lot of people come to me, what are you doing to be so successful? Can you help me with my business? And I was always a teacher. I'm thinking, oh yeah, I can teach you what I know and what I've learned. And the rest is history, because now I've been doing that for the last 18 years. But that why, because my why was so big, that's what got me through the tough times. That's what allowed me to be inspired each and every day, and what was really what motivated me. So that's why I want you to really grasp on to this why that you have, because that is going to allow you to break through any barrier or obstacle that you may be facing. Because let's face it, being an entrepreneur is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. There's a lot of challenges and decisions and things that you're going to be coming up against as an entrepreneur. So by having a strong why, that's what's going to allow you to be successful. That's what's going to allow you to do what you need to do. Break through those barriers and go through those learning curves. And I have to tell you, there's no other opportunity that allows you to grow as much as being an entrepreneur, right? I'm sure you guys get what I'm saying here, because you've all been entrepreneurs for a while, but there's so much to be learned on your journey as an entrepreneur. It's absolutely incredible. So for as challenging as it is, it's absolutely worth it, right? And you are in charge of your own success. And you're not here to play small. or be mediocre, right? So it's not about settling. It's about deciding what you want to create and going after it. All right. So I think we're at the top of the hour. Let's go ahead and break for like 10 minutes. So what we're going to do is have a little break so you guys can stretch and get something to drink, use the restroom. So you're going to be back at, well, let's see here. 1 o'clock. So let's say 1:15. That's 1:15 Central. So it's 15 minutes. I don't know what time zones you guys are in. Hopefully you can figure that out, that part. Okay. All right. Okay, so see you guys back at 1:15 Central. That's 2:15 Eastern, or that is 11:15 Pacific. So I will see you shortly. And get started again in about 30 seconds. All right. Okay, welcome back. I hope you had an opportunity to stretch and start absorbing some of the information that we've been going over. Now I'm super excited to get more into some meaty parts of the training or planning day. So I don't want you to think of this as a typical training that you leave and don't know what to do with the information, because we are going to be implementing some really cool stuff coming up here soon. So, all right. Now I want to talk to you about, again, one of my absolute favorite areas to talk about. I mentioned owning your values so you can earn your worth. That is basically the inspiration behind my whole book and the Passion Belief Method, because I have found that one of the biggest challenges that entrepreneurs face, especially women, is that they don't truly understand the value that they offer. So they don't have the confidence to present themselves in a powerful way or charge for or ask what they're worth. Can any of you guys relate to me on that, or relate with me? Because I know I struggled with that, and actually not just once, but multiple times throughout my career. Because as we, continue to grow and we want to up level our business, we have to up level our mindset and our belief about ourselves and the belief about our value, right? So this will come up over and over again. Now, it's so much easier to work for another company and you're kind of representing somebody else, and you can be confident in presenting something on behalf of someone else. But it's a whole different ballgame when we start having to market ourselves and, sell something that we created on our own. And we are like a representation of our products and services. So all the doubts show up. Am I good enough? Am I worth it? Are they going to want what I have to offer? Are they going to pay the money for my products or services? So this is where, we really have to do a deeper dive and do some of that work to really start revealing what your unique value is. Because the truth of the matter is, we all have amazing gifts to share. You have an amazing gift to share. And you have the right to be everything you're meant to be. So I want to do this work with you today, right now, to really help you understand just how amazing you are. So I believe our unique value comes from a number of different things. It comes from our God-given gifts and talents. It comes from our education, our experiences in our life. It comes from the skill sets we've developed, and it comes from our characteristics as a person and our values as a person. Not the value that we offer, but our values, like the standards by which we live by. Like my core values are integrity, trustworthiness, and love. So those are standards by which I live by, right? So all of those things come together to make up your unique value. So you can imagine that there's no two people on the planet alike. And when we start comparing ourselves to other people, saying, like, for example, if you have a bookkeeping business and you're like, oh, there's tons of other bookkeepers out there. What makes me unique and different? There's tons of stuff that does, right? Your personality, your experiences that you've had, the education, all the skills you've developed. That will make you different and unique. It's more about being able to recognize and celebrate your uniqueness and your difference. And when you're able to start focusing on it in a different way, that is really what's going to help you understand the value behind what you have to offer. For example, if you're thinking about your strengths and skills, there's all those strength finder tests out there now, right, that help you identify what your strengths are. Really important to understand what your strengths are, because that's where you want to focus most of your time in your business. However, when it comes to marketing and attracting your ideal star clients, that's not where it's at. So it's important to understand what the strengths are, but even more importantly, it's important to understand what the value that those strengths bring to other people. Okay? Because when we're focusing on the strengths themselves, we're focusing on ego. We're focusing on us. You know, I am a confident speaker. I am fluent in this, or I have skills in this area, or I, right? It's about us. But we want to think about, okay, it's great that we have those things, but how can those things actually help other people or make a difference? So that's what we really want to focus on. It's not about us. It's about being of service to other people and really being fulfilled in the work that we're doing. And when we're really not only following our passion, but living our purpose and being of service to others with our gifts, that's when we're going to be able to make the biggest difference. So this is really, really important work. So those of you who have your workbook, you have something that looks like this. I'm going to actually... There we go. So if you don't have a workbook, go ahead and make a T-chart like this. So this is my Reveal Your Unique Value exercise. So we're going to do this exercise together. So on one side, the left-hand side on the top, you want to put characteristics or skills that you possess, like these are your strengths. And then on the other side of the T-chart, you're going to put the value that it offers your client. Okay? So go ahead and make a chart like this. You have 5 different blocks. All right, so I'll give you a moment to do that. All right, so now I want you to think about what are 5 things that, and I don't want you to overthink, the first 5 that come to your mind, the 5 strengths or characteristics. It could be hard or soft skills that you possess that make you unique, that you're known for, or you're really good at, or you feel very excited about. So we're going to list 5 on the left-hand side. So go ahead and list 5 things. And ideally, I want you to go back to this and actually add more. So I would say at least 10. You can even do 20 of these. But we're going to start with 5 just for this exercise. So go ahead and write down the first 5 things that come up in terms of the characteristics or skills or strengths that you possess. Okay? Go ahead and do that now. Okay. Again, I didn't want you to overthink it, so you should be able to write those 5 down. Now, I want you to think about each of those strengths or skills, and we're going to start with the first one and think about, how does this strength or skill of mine help my ideal client. You know, when I'm able to be this type of person or utilize this skill or strength that I have, how is it impacting? How is it being of service or helping my ideal client? So the best way to do this is thinking about maybe some existing clients you have or some past clients you've had, and how you were able to use this skill with them and how it actually helped them or helped the experience, right? So go ahead and start going down the list and writing the value that each of these things offers your client, your ideal client. It's always about the ideal client, right? So go ahead and do that. This is going to take a little bit longer than the first side. And if you're really getting stuck, you can always email us and we can help you break this down a little bit. Okay. I'm going to give an example just to help you. So if you're thinking, okay, I'm a really good problem solver, like, great, good for you, right? But how does that actually help my client? So I can easily help my client get from where they are to where they want to be in a simple, clear, concise way. You know, so that can be a positive or benefit to my client because I'm a good problem solver, right? Or maybe I can help them overcome a challenge or break through a block or barrier that's keeping them stuck. I can help them see a clear path to the other side. So this is where I'm getting at with this. So think about, because you have that skill or strength, how it actually ultimately can help your client. You may or may not be done with this. This might take a little bit more work, so I'm going to invite you to come back to this later and then eventually add more. Do at least 10, maybe 20. And just by going through this exercise, it's so powerful. This is one of my favorite exercises I get to do with my clients, because what happens is you're able to start to truly see just how unique and amazing you are and what really makes you stand out in the marketplace. Because, I mean, me being a coach or consultant, there's so many business coaches and consultants these days, right? If I wasn't clear on what made me unique and different, then I might get lost in the shuffle, right? But when it comes to marketing ourselves and our business, again, it doesn't matter, you know, that I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years and I've had 7 different businesses and I have, you know, my different coaching certifications, all of that stuff. That's great in terms of credibility, but people are not going to look at that first if they are thinking about hiring me. They want to know what I can do for them, right? Did you ever hear of, you know, channel WIFM? WIFIM or something, what's in it for me? That's what they care about. So your marketing message moving forward is going to express, you know, that value side. So how you're going to be able to help them move from where they are to where they want to be, and be able to, the best, more effectively you can articulate the value that you offer your clients and putting that in your marketing message and speaking to that in your Facebook Lives or in your Facebook posts, in your emails. You know, no matter what the marketing method is, you are connecting to your ideal target client by addressing this value that you bring. So they can see you as the expert that they are seeking, that's going to take them from where they are to where they want to be, right? They're going to see you as the trusted advisor. Yes, after you catch their attention by speaking directly to them and touching their pain points and their challenges and struggles, and sharing, the value that you offer that can help them with a solution or transformation. They resonate with that message, because that's what's going to catch their attention instead of have just, move right past it. Then they might be like, oh, who is this Megan Tull chick? I'm going to check her out and look up my website and make sure that I'm legit, right? Or look me up on LinkedIn or whatever it is. But that's not the first thing you're going to do, right? So you really have to be able to connect with your ideal target client where they are, and show them that you are the one that can help them. And that is, how effectively you can articulate the value that you offer. So by doing this exercise, I hope that you realize just how amazing you are and talented and gifted you are. And I hope that you understand that whatever you decide to charge for your programs or services, it will be well worth it, because you can really offer a tremendous solution and transformation for your client. And when they invest in you, they're going to get all of this value that you have to offer. Okay, so I hope you understand that, because that is so, so powerful. All right, let's get back here. All right, so you've probably heard of me say, if it's not fun, why do it? But the flip side of that is, if you're not passionate about it, why do it? So that's why I love this saying, do it with passion or not at all. So I think so many times in our business, we get caught up in doing, all the menial things in our business, which, yes, in the beginning, you kind of have to. But then you get to decide, after you understand your business and you have your business set up, and you have the structure set up, the foundation, the structure set up properly, then it's up to you to start identifying some important factors, right? So after experiencing being in business for a while and working with several clients, you can determine, what do you love best about what you do? Okay, so I want you to take a moment and think about that. Genuinely think about the things in your business that when you get to do them, they bring you the most joy. And you feel like, wow, this is so fun for me. I really, really enjoy this. So go ahead and write down what's coming up for you. What do you love best about what you do? So for me, one of, there's so many things that I enjoy when it comes to helping women entrepreneurs. But one of the things I absolutely love to do is help them get unstuck. And when I have the opportunity to do that, and preferably face-to-face or even in person, for example, at my Shifting Your Power retreat that I offer, that to me is like the ultimate. And I can be there, I can create this sacred space for them to be in and really be able to work through any blocks or challenges that they're facing, and actually go through a really deep process to help them be able to kind of break through and be transformed on the other side. That is what I love best about what I do. And then they have a newfound sense of love and passion for what they're doing, and newfound excitement because they know what to focus on in their business and how they can express what they do in a very powerful way. So that's my example. So think about what that is for you. Hopefully you wrote down something juicy. All right, so the second question you want to ask yourself is, how can you do more of it? Or how can I do more of it? Ask yourself. So that's what it's all about, being able to do more of what you love. Because if there's, things that you love in your business and you're not really spending time doing them and you're focusing more time on the things you don't love, guess what? Your business is not going to be fulfilling. And chances are it's not going to be as successful as you want it to be either. We'll talk about why in a second on that one. So think about, how can you do more of it? For me, simply, it's like, how can I create more situations where I can be face-to-face with my clients? Or maybe I can do more retreats. I do one in the spring and one in the fall. All right. Okay, so this is where I want you to think about, are you focused on your brilliance? Are you spending most of your time on the skills and abilities that you are most passionate about, that are super fun for you, that allow you to work in your brilliance? You can look at it as genius zone, as another way of looking at it. So when you're able to work in your brilliance area, this is when results come with ease and clients fall in love with you and your income multiplies. So think about what that is for you. And we can break it down even further here. So what feels easy? These are 3 questions you can ask yourself to help you kind of identify this. What feels easy? When am I in the flow? Okay, because when you are operating from your brilliance or your genius zone, this just comes super naturally to you. So it is going to feel easy. It's going to feel right. And it's going to just kind of flow. Remember, I talked about the word alignment. When we are doing things that we're not supposed to be doing, or things that are not part of our brilliance or genius zone, we often feel resistance, right? It just feels hard. It feels like a struggle, like we're pushing or forcing. Does anybody relate to that? That's how I actually operated my business for many, many years, which just kills me now to think back, because I made a lot of money even at the time when I tripled my income in that 6-month period. I was not in alignment. So I was still able to reach that goal. And that was more because of my why being so big and me being so connected to my why. But it wasn't sustainable, because I was, like I told you, I was kind of following what other people said I should do. And because I'm super confident, determined, and I'm willing to do what it takes, I was doing that. And so I did get the results. But the whole time, it felt like I was pushing and forcing. And it felt hard. It felt like I was pushing a rock up a hill. And it was exhausting. After doing that for so many years in my business, that's where I kind of hit my rock bottom. Remember I said I had my financial lows? There was a time where I was just like, I was in a really unhealthy relationship that I attracted in my world because of where I was at. But then also I just couldn't do it anymore. And my business basically tanked because I was out of alignment. I was doing the things that I felt like I needed to do, not the things that I wanted to do. So again, I'm going to ask you this question. What feels easy? When am I in the flow? That is your brilliance. That is what you really want to be focusing on if you want to create your lifestyle business that you love, right? So then the second question is to kind of more identify this. What activities, projects, or ideas have created 80% or more of my revenue? Because again, when you're operating in the space, you are able to generate results a lot easier because you are in the flow. Okay, but we often get off track, again, listening to what other people are doing, trying to fit ourselves in a box of what other people recommend us to do. And we are then, focusing our time on the wrong things and not getting the results that we desire. I know it sounds so easy, right? Reading this like, duh. Why wouldn't I focus on the things that bring in 80% of my income? But for some reason, we don't. Third question, when do I feel like I'm providing the highest value? This is another thing. Going back to, your sheet when you created your value, just going back and reading all of those things you put, will help you kind of identify when in your business are you able to utilize most of the value that you actually have to offer. Maybe you're not doing this in an efficient way. We're not going to get into it too much, but when you're able to offer more high-level programs, high-end, high-ticket offerings, and working with your high-end ideal clients that are really willing to invest in what you have to offer. They're willing to invest for a full solution or full transformation that you can offer. So they're not just getting like a one-off service from you, but they're really willing to commit their time and effort and attention and money into a bigger commitment with you, whatever that looks like. Maybe you don't have something in place right now, but think about what that could be. Like if you can create the perfect scenario and be able to work with your ideal star client in a way that you believe can give them the most effective results, that full solution, full transformation they want, what would that look like for you? And that's where you can provide the highest value. So you may have something like that in place now, so you want to do more of that. If you don't, you want to think about how you can create something like that in your business. All right. So I hope that was helpful for you to kind of start thinking about where you're spending your time. Another thing is again, if we're spinning our wheels and not getting results in our business, we're focusing on the wrong thing. So either we're not focusing on our brilliance or genius zone. But another thing we could be doing is not focusing on the right things at the right time in our business. So I want you to think about what stage of business you're in. So if you are newer in business, then you really want to start, at a place where you're kind of working out the kinks and really fine-tuning your offering, kind of like validating your offering. So this is a crucial stage in the beginning. You want to move through this where you're refining your craft, building your confidence, and you're working with only a limited amount of clients at this point. So this is always where you want to start. And this is whether you're new in business, or maybe you're launching a new program or a new facet to your business. You have to start here again, because you have to find your craft, or validate your offer, perfect your offer, and then you start building your confidence, right? Because you're starting to get feedback from your clients in terms of the results that you're getting, right? And so this is really important, because this is kind of the baseline in which you have to start, and then you can move up from there. Now, the face-to-face, obviously one-on-one, has its limitations, right? Because there's only so much time you have, a week. And to really be able to reach a certain level of income, you would be running yourself ragged. Let's say you're a coach or consultant and you're working with clients in an hour session, for example, face-to-face, one-on-one, you'd have to be doing a lot of face-to-face consultations to really make a decent amount of money. But you have to start there, right? So a lot of times you want to just jump in saying, oh, so-and-so is offering like group coaching programs, and you're wanting to jump in and do that before you actually have fine-tuned and perfected your craft, and then you're wanting to scale too fast. That is going to cause you to crash and burn. So you have to make sure you're doing this at the right pace, okay? And you're focusing on the right things at the right time. The other area is then moving more online. And this would be, and this is kind of different depending on your business. Like if you had a physical business, brick and mortar business, for example, obviously you need to see what sells in the store before you can then mass produce it or make it available to the masses online, right? So it's the same kind of thing. You just have to kind of tweak it. But so you're moving online one-on-one. So you're leveraging your time. You can create like some programs and things that people can access on their own time. So you're creating more time freedom for yourself, creating more of a general framework. This is a great way to get more and more testimonials, right? Those testimonials are proof. We can talk about how great we are and how great our program is all day long, but it's so much more impactful if it's coming from one of our clients, right? And then the third area is online one-to-many. So this is where we're talking about the group programs. There's no limits to your reach, right? You can help as many people as possible. You can have hundreds of people in your programs in this case. So that's where the sky's the limit in terms of the amount of money you can make. So these are just three basic phases or stages, I should say, of business. So I want you to think about where you kind of fit in. And you're either going to, be one of these three. So think about which one you resonate with the most. Okay. If you're ready to, if you're just getting started, or maybe you're working on a new program you're getting ready to launch, then that means you're in the first face-to-face one-on-one. You kind of figured it out and you're ready to kind of leverage your time a little bit more and do some more online marketing to get in front of your ideal star clients. Then you're in stage 2. If you have been doing online marketing and you've gotten some traction, and now you're really wanting to scale your business on the highest level and really automate some things and work with many people at one time online, then you're in the third area. Okay, so now I have some tasks that you can actually write down. Let me There you go. Hopefully you can see this. Bring it a little closer. All right, so the first step, the first stage, we're talking about the face-to-face one-to-one, is all about validating your offer. So this is where you're going to be developing your training or coaching program, for example, or, you know, if you are in the professional services industry, you know, thinking about, you know, the services that you're going to be offering your clients. Then, you know, once you develop it, then you need to launch it. So you're launching it as like a pilot program. So initially, maybe you're offering it to friends or acquaintances. And again, this doesn't mean it's just for somebody who's brand new in business, but keep in mind too, if you are thinking about offering a new, different type of program within your business, then you want to follow the same process, okay? Then after you launch it and some friends and acquaintances have worked through it, they're going to be giving you some feedback. So you'll be able to make the necessary tweaks in your program. So that's based on the pilot experience. And then you can create a simple funnel, for example, an online funnel to launch it. And or maybe, you know, you don't have a funnel yet and you're not ready to go into the online world. That's okay. But you start sharing it with some folks, and initially you offer it 50% off because you're still perfecting and refining the program, right? And then you want to make sure you're making it super irresistible to your ideal target clients. So you're adding in some irresistible bonuses that they can't refuse. And these can be some things that you've already created. So that's what I highly recommend for bonuses, not something that you have to create that's going to take more time. And then you can use some free marketing strategies to start to fill your program, okay? Now, when you're doing online marketing, which is a whole different beast, like I was telling you about, you have to not only validate your offer, but you also, when it comes time to, especially paying for marketing, you need to make sure that your ad or your marketing message has been proven. So you try the, I don't like the word try, you actually implement the marketing message in free marketing strategies. So maybe you're posting it on Facebook, you send out an email to your list. Maybe you don't have a list, so you have to just do online, Facebook, LinkedIn. Okay. Another way is to put together a signature talk. And so once you get clear on what you want to talk about, what you want to offer, you start sharing your message in local groups, events, meetups. So you have a signature talk where you created a talk about the juicy topics. So maybe just taking one piece out of your program and sharing on that in a talk. And then you invite them at the end to either maybe a discovery session or strategy session where then you can invite them to get into the program, or you can even offer your program at 50% off if you're good at, you know, presenting your offer. Sometimes it's easier to do that on a call because you can personalize it a little bit and get some background on them. Okay, so stage one, you're validating your offer. All right. Sorry, I've got my paper crunching over here. All right, then we got next stage, which is building your list, okay? So you don't start building your list until you validated your offer, right? The best way to start building your list, and by the way, your list is your business. That's like an asset that you have. So sometimes, you know, we think that social media and having lots of followers or likes on our Facebook fan page is important, or the most important thing to focus on. But at the end of the day, you want to get them from your social media onto an email list, because then that email list you own. That is an asset. You can even sell that list later, whereas followers or likes on social media, that does not translate into you owning anything, because that stuff can go away anytime. So the best thing you can do is you can get their attention online through you know, Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or Pinterest, whatever your vice is when it comes to social media. But then you want to invite them to take a next step. So you've gotten their attention, you've talked about a hot topic, you've tapped into their pain points and struggles or challenges, you've got their attention, then you invite them to take that next step with you. So creating an irresistible lead magnet is very important. So you are then being able to provide more value. So this is a free gift offer. So of course you need to have some sort of basic funnel for them to be able to access this. So you can have like a checklist, you can have a blueprint. You probably already have something created. If you haven't created something already for this, you probably have it just as part of your process or something you talk about. So you're just actually making it into a document, a downloadable, so it's easy access. You can also do like a video training online and make that your lead magnet. But the key is to offer them something of value where they're getting to learn more about you. They're starting to see you even more as a trusted advisor and authority in your industry. But you are exchanging that free gift offer. They are getting the free gift for exchange of their name and email address. So you can start building your list. So with your funnel, the funnel is really just a one page. It's pretty basic, but you want to make sure it's very high converting. I've actually perfected this, and with my clients, I actually share my funnel that they can just kind of tweak and make their own. But it's really, really important to make sure that obviously the lead magnet is something that's desirable, but also your page is very functional and high converting. Then you want to create a thank you page with an invite. This is the best. This is when you're just getting started and building your list. I think this is the best way to go about it, where after they opt in for the lead magnet, then you're sending them to a thank you page. Maybe you have a video on there that invites them to a complimentary strategy session or discovery session. I call mine my business breakthrough strategy session. So you make it super sexy and inviting. It's not a sales call. It's another opportunity for you to provide more value. I tell them they're going to get their Align with Profits blueprint on this call. I tell them exactly what the benefits are going to be. So they know if they invest their time, even though it's free, they're investing their time and they're going to get value. You can mention, by the way, if through the conversation we discover that it's a good fit for us to continue working together, I can share with you what that might look like. So you can be transparent when it comes to that, but it is a call that provides value. So then you're setting up an initial email nurture in your autoresponder. So yes, you'll need to have an autoresponder program if you don't already have one. For example, I use MailChimp, but some people use Infusionsoft, which is a little bit more sophisticated and sometimes overwhelming. Constant Contact, there's so many different options here, but you have to set up that initial email nurture. So when they opt in, they're getting a link to download the free gift. They're then part of a series. Maybe you're setting up 5 initial emails, one to go out right away to get them the link for their free gift. And then maybe the next day they get an email from you where you're making sure that they got the free gift okay, and that they're focusing on these benefits of the free gift, or you're providing more value and more content. So this is a great way to start to nurture your contacts and start to establish a relationship with them. All right, and so when once you set up I would say start with at least 5 emails to go out. And you could do it 5 days in a row. 1 to go out immediately when they opt in. They're getting their free gift immediately. And then 1 each day, then up to 5 emails. Before you actually make this available to potential clients you want to test to free traffic, before you would use any kind of paid advertising, obviously. Make sure everything's working properly, making sure it's converting properly. Now, I know the whole online thing can feel a little daunting. There's several steps on this. I'm actually going to tell you how you can get more support and help with this later. But yes, definitely don't think about spending money on Facebook ads or any paid advertising until you really make sure everything is a well-oiled machine. And then speaking, again, speaking is a fantastic way to grow your business. So if you don't want to do the online stuff right away, I say get out there in your own backyard and start speaking your message to your ideal audience, getting in front of other people's groups that are in alignment with what you're doing. But this is great. At a lot of times you can't make an offer or sell anything, but you can always offer a free gift. I've never had any pushbacks and say, oh no, you can't offer our audience a free gift. They're 99.5% going to say, oh, absolutely, you can offer a free gift. So by offering the free gift, I actually have a sheet that I hand out where they could check a box and say, yes, I want your free gift. And then sometimes I have on there as well that they can choose to have a one-on-one complimentary strategy session with me. They can check both boxes or one or the other. So I'm getting their name and email address. And then when I go back, I have my assistant add the names into my autoresponder system. So I can continue to stay connected. We send the free gift and then we continue to stay connected. Now you want to be careful not to sell constantly to your list, but that's actually the next thing we're going to be talking about. Eventually, it's about converting that potential client into an actual client. But you have to start by providing value and nurturing them and developing that relationship, right? It's just like dating. Like if you met somebody for the first time and you went in for the kiss, that'd be weird and awkward, right? So that's when you first meet somebody online and they're automatically trying to sell you something. It's disgusting, right? It's offensive. So you want to think about, really establishing and nurturing that relationship first before then you invite them to that next step. We're going to go to first base with you, right? All right. So we're going to be taking a break here shortly, but I wanted to finish up this section with you. All right. Selling to your list. So this is the next step. You really want to make sure that if you're selling, you're prepared for that. So some things to keep in mind. A great way to sell is through a consult. So making sure you have automated booking calendar. I use Time Trade, but there's Calendly, where you can, when you invite them, as we spoke about, when you're building your list, you invite them to that complimentary strategy session. You can have the link right there where they can actually register for a session with you. Pick a time that works for them. So then you want to make sure that when you're offering that consult, it's super sexy, right? It's super irresistible. They want it. They're not feeling like it's going to be something that's one-sided that they're going to be sold to. They know that they're going to be walking away with value. And then you want to make sure you have a sales script for your consult, so you're not just winging it. You have very specific, poignant questions that you ask them to really understand where they're at currently, where their struggles or challenges are, and then what their ideal outcome would look like, what would they like to create for themselves. And this doesn't matter what industry you're in, guys. You can really tailor it to any industry. If you're a realtor, obviously you want to find out you know, where they're at right now, their current situation where they're living, and why they want to make a change, and then what would be their desired house or home that they want to live in. And then you can take that information and determine, can I help this person or not? And chances are, if they're your ideal client, you know, you'll be able to move them into a next step, which is your solution or transformation or program or offering that will take them from where they are to where they want to be, okay? So, but you do have to have a process. I say have a sales script. It doesn't have to sound like you're reading from a sales script. It has to be conversational. You want to be open to what comes up, but you're following a guide. So it's targeted, and it's very efficient and effective. All right. You want to make sure you're practicing your sales consult script with friends or family members, and then you want to make sure you're developing your value ladder. So you can have your free offering, maybe a low-end offering, a moderate, and high. So you have many different ways to be able to offer somebody something. So maybe they don't have a ton of money to invest in your high-end offer, and you kind of got that from the conversation you had. So you can maybe introduce them into a low-end or moderate, and maybe eventually they will invest in a higher end. Right off the bat, if they don't even know you, obviously the free offering would be most effective. So it doesn't mean you always have to start, like if you're talking to somebody in a sales consult, start with the low end first. Like based on where they're wanting to go, sometimes it makes sense to offer your high-end offering, because if that's going to be the best solution for them to take them from where they to where they want to be the quickest, then offer that. If you feel like, based on your expertise and your knowledge, recommend that. So don't be afraid to do that. So then you also want to make sure that in addition to your free offering, you have an actual program or course or package or something to move them into, obviously. I don't recommend creating this before you know that there's a want for it. You can have the concept or idea of what you want to offer, but I always say, you know, start flying the plane as you're building it. Yes. Because you really want to make sure that you are creating something that your ideal target clients want. So this is one of the biggest problems I see that many entrepreneurs face. They kind of hide behind product creation, and they do this either, I need to build the perfect website. So they'll either be spending time on that and money they don't have, or they're in forever product creation mode. Don't worry about creating a product until somebody says, yes, I want to buy it. Because all you need is a hot title, know what the benefits are and the features, and you can start selling it. And then you can create it once you know the demand is there. And then you'll want to have, you know, sales letter, email that you can send to your email list that starts talking about your product, right? And just getting the word out there, and you can start sharing it as well on your social media outlets. All right, and then the last area, once you start selling to your list and you've started to get really confident in your offer, then you want to start automating and scaling. So you set up automation tools. Again, you have your sales funnel automated, starting with the free gift offering. Then you have your programs set up too in a sales funnel as well. So if they're taking that next step with you, you have somewhere to send them that talks about all the features and benefits of the actual, mostly the benefits. Features are like secondary, but speaking specifically to them and what their desires are. And then you want to, if there's a consult involved, making sure you have those online calendar bookings. So everything's just streamlined. Having a process and a system for everything. Even your customer onboarding process, making sure you have a very specific process for that. Eventually you want to turn your one-on-one programs to one-to-many. So you're leveraging your time. So once you really have validated your offering and people are loving what you're doing, you're getting some great testimonials and case studies, that's the time where you want to start offering group programs. And you start using those case studies to really start sharing about your programs and the benefits and the results of your program. So again, we're leveraging our time, we're creating automation in the program. Then once you get to, I say at least $5,000 a month consistently, then you want to think about hiring your first assistant. Okay, possibly a bookkeeper or somebody who's going to run some of the day-to-day, social media posts, follow up with customers, that type of thing. And then you want to train your assistant and then delegate. Delegate whatever it is you don't want to do or that you shouldn't be spending your time on, making sure you're spending your time on the areas that you love and that is your brilliance and your genius zone, because that's where your time is best spent. You're focusing on only the things that you can do. Okay? Awesome. All right, so automation and scaling is the final step on that. All righty. Let's see where we're at. All right, so you guys are probably ready for a break. So we're going to take just a quick 10-minute break because I want to make sure we have enough time to go over everything else that I wanted to share with y'all today. So let's see here. It's we got 13 after, so at 2:23. Oh, I don't know how I change this now. Move this over top. There we go. So 2:23. And that's central. So 10 minutes. Let you figure that out. Oh, that didn't work. Obviously, I'm not used to working with this. I don't know how to remove it. That's crazy. Eraser. There we go. All right, the break's going to be over by the time I figure this out. So go ahead and take your break. See you soon. We're going to get started in 1 minute. So you can find your way back. Okay. So again, your growth goals, just to kind of recap what we went over, is validating your offer, or maybe you've already done that. Now you're ready to build your list. And then after you start building your list, you're ready to sell to your list. And then after you've been selling your list for a while and you got your program solid and your offering solid and your marketing funnel in place, you're ready to automate and scale. Well, I'm sorry, the marketing funnel is part of the automation and scaling. But yeah, you have to have a proven concept. Your list is built, I would say at least having, a couple thousand people on your list, and then you're selling to your list, and then you're ready to automate and scale. Yippee! So that is the proper order to start setting that proper structure for your business. Now, you really want to, I know it seems to be overwhelming at times of all that has to be done, but you really just want to chunk it down. And I want you to think about just working on only 4 projects a month at the most. And it depends on the size of the project, but what I want to go over next with you, and I can't believe how time is just flying by. Anyway, I want you to start thinking about the vision you have for your business. So let's stop sharing this for a minute. And we're really going to start breaking down what you want to create. So we talked about earlier, like where you are currently in your business. We talked about the challenges or struggles and how that's impacted you, the lessons that you learned, okay? So now that you've done that, and now that you got clear on the value that you have to offer, and you started thinking about what it is you absolutely love to do in your business, what you're really good at, what comes naturally, where your brilliance zone is, the area that when you're working in that area, you tap into the flow and things start coming easily to you. So based on that knowledge, I want you to start thinking about the vision you want to create for your business moving forward. And this is your big goal, your big vision, your big goal for the rest of the year. And your goal needs to be a SMART goal. You probably heard of this, right? So SMART being specific. Okay, so you want to be as specific as possible, not like, I want to have a successful business. That is not specific enough. What does a successful business mean to you? So be specific. The M stands for measurable. Oh, I don't know how to spell. Measurable, meaning you can actually measure your results. Okay? So like, I want a lot of clients. Well, how do you measure a lot of clients, right? And then TA is for attainable. And I have a disclaimer on this one because I don't want you to think, I don't want you to limit yourself here. So it's important to have a goal that you believe you can reach, but then you also want to stretch that and push yourself a little bit further. So you can have a high level goal, and then a medium goal, and then a goal like, I have to at least reach this, but it's great if I can reach this kind of thing. So that kind of opens up your mind to the possibility instead of just, if I could just make $1,000 a week, I would be so sad. I would be so happy. Now, what if you can make more? You don't want to limit yourself, but you have to in your mind. Sorry, I have a major glare. I don't know if that's going to change. Just the sun's starting to go down. But it has to be like in your mind, you have to believe that it's possible, but you also need to feel like it's a stretch. Does that make sense? All right. The R stands for relevant, meaning it's super important to you. Because if a goal is not important enough, you're not going to do what it takes to make sure you reach it. That kind of goes back to your why. And then T is time frame. You have a specific time frame in which you're going to reach the goal. So by the end of the month, I will have 10 new clients. Okay? All right. So I want you to now take a moment to think about what your big goal is, following this SMART formula, and go ahead and write down on your notebook. Kind of close your eyes for a moment. Bear with me for a moment. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And in your mind's eye, I want you to visualize what your ideal business looks like. What will you be doing in your business? What will you be focusing on? Your brilliance. Who will you be serving? How will you be serving them? Are you going to be working with a team of people? Are you doing this by yourself? Where is it that you're going to be serving them? And I want you to think about what type of income you'd like to see yourself making by the end of the year. And how is that going to impact your lifestyle? Remember, connecting that why you want to make the money is super important. So how will that impact your lifestyle? What will that money allow you to do? Now go ahead and write down what's coming up for you. Okay. You can add to this later, but right now, considering your vision and what you want to create, this is the place that then you start to plan out what you're going to be focusing on in your business. Because everything you do in your business moving forward must be in alignment with this vision, which is your goal, your big goal, right? Now, I know entrepreneurs struggle with making decisions sometimes. Trust me, I know, I've been there, but now I've simplified the decision-making process, because so many of us have like that shiny red object syndrome, right? Starting to mess up my words here. So we see these opportunities. Oh my gosh, there's this cool new training program on this. I should do that. Or, you know, oh, there's this really cool new tool that I probably should get for my business. And we're like squirreling all over the place, doing all these different things, right? And not focusing on the right things in our business, right? So I like to make the decision-making process as simple as possible. And this is how I make decisions. So when you have an opportunity or something that shows up that you're trying to decide, should I do this or not do this? This is as easy as it can be. But you can ask yourself two very simple questions when you're having to make a decision. The first question, first question is it in alignment with my values? Okay. So remember I talked about your values, your standards by which you live by, the things that are most important to you. So if you want to live a life that is purposeful, meaning to you, has a lot of meaning to you, and is fulfilling, makes you happy, everything you do must be in alignment with your values. If not, it's going to be out of whack, right? You're going to be out of integrity. So you can ask yourself, is this in alignment with my values? That's the first question. The second question you want to ask yourself is this going to take me closer to my big goal, the vision you just wrote for yourself? Because sometimes it could just be a distraction. It could take us on another path, right? And this is all about being focused, laser focused on the right things. So you're focusing on the right things at the right time in your business, okay? So those are the two questions you ask yourself when you're having to make a decision. All right, I hope that's helpful. That's made a tremendous difference in my life, in my world. All right, and then the next step, we're going to take that vision and break it down into big steps or projects. Remember on that slide it said only 4 projects, jumped ahead a little bit there. So you have write down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to break it down into 4 projects that you'll be focusing on for the rest of the year that will help you reach your big goal. So looking back at the vision that you wrote down, like what are the things that you have to put in place? Maybe you have to develop a new program. Maybe you have to, you're ready to automate something. You have to set up a sales funnel. Maybe you have to hire a team member. Everybody's going to be in a different place, but based on what we were talking about, you know, in terms of the stages of your business, this is where this is very relevant. Are you in the validating your offer stage? Are you in the building your list stage? Are you in the selling your list stage? Are you in the automation or scaling stage? This is how you're going to decide what are the projects that you're going to be focusing on, and write those 4 things down, okay? Go ahead and write that down. All right. You need to go back to that. You can. Just for time's sake, I'm going to move forward. So we're only focusing on 4 projects a month, minimum, or maximum. Sorry. So you don't want to take on too much because it can be overwhelming. Even just thinking about your big vision, it's exciting, but then sometimes we immediately go into, oh, it's so overwhelming. There's so much to do. That's why we want to kind of chunk it down. Like, okay, with my big vision, what are the 4 main things that I have to focus on to make sure I can create this vision, right? So that's the 4 projects or big steps. And then I want you to go ahead and prioritize, because maybe you just wrote them down in any order. Prioritize and think about what is the most important one that I should start with first. So go ahead and order them. All right. Now, based on the one that you marked number 1, the most important one for you to get started with, I want you to think about what are the mini steps, the small, bite-sized, actual steps that you need to take to actually implement that project. So it's going to be anywhere from like 5 to 10 steps. That's how you're going to break it down, super simple, super small. And go ahead and start writing down that list. You can write up to 10 if that's what it takes. All right, go ahead and do that. Okay, so if you are feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin, don't worry. Like I said earlier, I will have some further assistance for you, especially with the online stuff, which often we can feel overwhelmed about, or it's a kind of a mystery. But you should have been able to break down some actionable steps that you know you have to do, whether or not you have to get help to learn something new, or ask around and find out what the best platform to use or tool or something to accomplish something. That's okay. These are the actual steps you're going to start working on. Now, I know sometimes this isn't going to happen moving forward if you follow this plan, but in the past, you probably have found yourself, waking up in the morning, either you're excited or not excited to get started with the day, but often you get in your office and you're like, I don't even know what to focus on. Like, what do I have to do? What's the best thing for me to focus on in my business to reach my goals? This is the solution to that, guys. So you will now know when you go into your office what you should be focusing on when it comes to building business or actually being able to put together your marketing plan. Now, first and foremost, always, you want to be focusing on your income producing activities. So now when it comes to breaking down these steps and the mini steps, the 5 or 10 actions, think about which one of these are going to bring me the income the quickest. That's a way to kind of prioritize. Sometimes like there's certain orders of things that need to be considered because it's very specific. You got to do this first before you can do this. But in general, our time is best spent when we are focused on income producing activities. So that's the first thing I do when I go in my office is I make sure that I'm either doing my consultations or following up with potential clients, getting people on the schedule. A lot of that stuff now I have my assistant do, but those are things that have to be happening in order to have that consistency in my business, have consistent clients coming into my business. I also make it a priority to reach out to prospective strategic partners because that's going to help me grow my business as well. And then, of course, actually working with clients, servicing my clients is a big piece of it. So those things have to come first. Those have to be your priorities. But then when you have extra time, you're like, okay, what are the things that I focus on now to help build my business? That's when you go to these steps here, your marketing action plan. And this is how you know what to focus on next to build your business, okay? So if this is not complete, be sure to go back and complete this so then you absolutely are 100% clear on what you need to focus on tomorrow when you go in the office. Or you might be off tomorrow for the holiday. But next time you're ready to work, you'll be clear on what you have to focus. So having your revenue target is also very important. So thinking about your big vision, like if you're able to have that vision come to fruition, what would that mean financially? And then being able to break that down into like, what am I going to be making per month, per week, or how many clients do I have to attract? Maybe how many clients do I have to have a consult with? If you're converting 30% is pretty average. I've seen 50%. But consistently, if you do your consults pretty well, you should be able to convert at least 30%. So let's say you're selling something around $2,000 and your goal is, $6,000 per week. So you have to have 3 clients by the end of the week, which means you have to have 10 consults to get those 3 clients, which will bring you $6,000. Okay, so that's how clear you have to be. You have to break it down and be super clear on what you're working towards. And I love to encourage you to reward yourself. So when you're reaching your goals, you're actually rewarding yourself. We all are working towards lifestyle changes here. So think about some of the things you can do to make sure your business is really a lifestyle business. So making sure you have some tech-free time where you're able to get away from technology. Making sure you're moving your body throughout the day and you're not sitting in front of your computer constantly all day. So making sure, I like to set a timer sometimes. So I know I'm going to be working on a project all day. I'll set a timer to remind myself to get up and move. Sometimes I remind myself to eat too. Being in gratitude. Those of you who got the workbook, you have your gratitude statement sheet included in there because I think it's so important to be grateful for what you do have and actually be aware of all the blessings that are coming to you every day. So even if maybe you didn't reach your financial goal for the day or get the new client that you were dying to get, then you can at least reflect on what are the good things that happen. oh, I got this amazing email from one of my existing clients that shared how awesome she is doing because she implemented a new strategy that I taught her. Whatever it is, you know, gratitude for your health, gratitude for your family, thinking about the things that are blessings in your life currently. You focus on the positive, you're going to attract more of that. So I encourage you to write 5 things down each day that you're grateful for. Self-care, making sure you're taking care of yourself. That is huge. Because without your health, the wealth doesn't even matter, right? You won't even be around long enough to spend your money. So making sure you're taking good care of yourself, starting your day, exercising, eating well, kindness. Kindness I wanted to put in there because I think it's so important to take some time to appreciate others and you know, compliment people when they're not expecting it. Just, I think the world needs more kindness, so being cognizant of that. And then making sure you're scheduling vacation time. What is a lifestyle business when you're not able to take vacation? So that's part of the deal. That could be a way that you reward yourself when you reach your goals. Actually, I would schedule it, put it on the schedule, make sure it happens. All right, so hopefully you're clear on your vision of what you want to create this year moving forward. And what it comes down to is making sure everything you're doing is in alignment. So, you know, thinking about marketing strategies, I talked about, you know, being, working against your natural way, you're feeling the resistance where you're feeling like everything's a struggle. And then, you know, the opposite of that is being able to tap into flow and ease and grace in your business. So just like everything else, your vision is in alignment with your true self, your passion, your purpose, right? And then the decisions that you make are in alignment with that vision and your values as a person. But then your marketing strategies must be in alignment as well with what you're passionate about. The things that you feel like are part of your brilliance. Video is huge right now, but if you absolutely hate video and feel uncomfortable, that's not going to be your best way to market to your clients. Maybe you are an excellent writer, so you choose to have a blog or write emails to your clients. Focus more on that, or focus more on your posts. So think about the ways you can get in front of your ideal target client that really utilize your brilliance and your expertise and your natural way of doing things. I love to speak, and I love to be with people. So speaking has been a great way for me to get out in front of my ideal clients. And I know sometimes speaking can be super scary for a lot of folks, but you don't necessarily have to speak in front of a huge group. You can speak to more of a small, intimate group, and that might be your jam. So think about the ways you can market your business that are in alignment with your natural way and how you want to operate your business. That is huge. Because that's when you're going to tap into the flow, ease, and grace in your business. You only need 2, maybe 3 marketing strategies that work well for you. So don't feel like you have to do everything or do something someone else is doing. Okay? All right, so we did the vision map. Okay, so you're wanting to make sure you're celebrating your successes along the way. And so we had our old way of doing things. Now we have our new way of doing things. We're knowing what to focus on and making sure we are super clear on what we want to accomplish each and every day, being super intentional and on purpose with our day. Because you will not believe how much you feel like, oh my gosh, I've just gained so much more time each day when you're not spending your time focusing on the wrong things. It's spinning your wheels, right? Those of you who are interested, if you email us at support@megantull.com, I can send you my project planner sheet where, like, for the month, you put the month on there, and then you can break down your projects for the month. And you have your revenue target, a reward that you're going to have, and what lifestyle change you're going to implement. There's also some affirmations on there. So I'm happy to share this with you. You can make as many copies, for each month as you want. But this is such a valuable tool to help you stay on track. So happy to share this. Just email us at support@megantull.com to get your copy. All right. 5 tips to build momentum and get out of overwhelm. Okay, so focus on one thing at a time. Talked about that. Having clear and specific goals. Definitely talked about that. Being selective on how you spend your time. And creating content and value people want. Remember I said being in content creation mode solely, just to kind of hide in that place, is not going to do you much good, because you may be creating something that somebody doesn't even want. So just don't be afraid to get out there and start sharing your message and see how it's been being received, and then you'll know what you need to create. Sell before you create. I already talked about this one. So that is really, really important. Don't feel like you have to spend months in creating your big program before you can start making money. For me, it's all about how do you get out there, start making money right away. That's what your focus is. So when you know what to focus on and when in your business, that's how you get out of overwhelm. All right, this is my formula for success, guys. This is huge. So we talked about beliefs, right? So when you have a belief, good or bad, right? It all starts with that belief. With a belief, you're going to take an action, right? So the action at the beginning might be super small because it's a scary step, right? But with an action, you're going to get results. Now your results may be good or not so good, maybe even a so-called failure, right? Or a learning opportunity. But with those results, you will learn something, right? So you'll know either you're going to get great results and be happy with that, or you're going to get not so great results and be like, oh, now I know what to do better next time, right? So either way, you're going to build confidence. And with that confidence, guess what? Your belief is going to be stronger. Your belief in yourself, your belief in your products or services, your belief in your vision and your mission, it's going to get stronger. With that new, stronger belief, you're going to take a bigger action next time. And then with that bigger action, you're going to get bigger, better results. And with those bigger, better results, you're going to gain more confidence, right? So this cycle will keep continuing. And that is how you're going to be successful. So now is your time. You were born to share your gifts and get paid generously for doing so. So go out there and shine your light. Don't be afraid to. So today you got crystal clear on your vision for your business, developed a mindset of a successful leader and CEO. You owned your value so you can earn your worth, really getting clear on what your unique value is, what makes you different than anybody else out there. You learned your why you are here to serve. You created your aligned marketing plan, what you need to focus on and when, so you can skyrocket your business this year. So you may be thinking, well, Megan, there's a missing piece of the puzzle. We got the what you need to focus on, why you need to focus on it, right? But some of you may be thinking like, well, how do I actually do this? There may be some fuzzy areas that you're not exactly sure how to implement some of these strategies or concepts we were talking about. So that's why I wanted to really be able to provide you another next step. So you may be thinking, how do I get a consistent flow of new clients willing to invest in my services coming into my business without having to put in countless hours of work, right? You may be thinking, how do I set up systems and processes in my business so I can be more efficient and productive? You may be thinking, how do I get accountability and support to know if I'm staying on track in my business? I hear you. And it's not unusual to have these concerns. And I want to let you know that I have thought about this and I wanted to be able to offer a next step for you, for those of you who want additional support. So I have a special invitation. I'm going to play a video for you. So here you go. Hey there, did you know that today women are starting to run their own business at record rates? We own an estimated 11.6 million businesses, employ nearly 9 million people, and generate more than 1.7 trillion in annual revenue. Exciting, isn't it? But did you also know that 20% of small businesses fail in the first year, 30% of small businesses fail in their second year, and 50% fail after only 5 years in business? Finally, did you know that the average woman business owner only makes $600 that? Now, some of you who aren't there yet may be thinking, that's great. But for those individuals that have a family to take care of, that most likely won't cover the bills, let alone allow for a desirable lifestyle. My name is Tull, passion expert, entrepreneur success strategist, and best-selling author of the book Passion Belief Method, Own Your Value, and Earn Your Worth in Business. I've been a business owner for over 25 years. My passion is to help success-minded women business owners that are struggling to get results they desire in their business to redesign their business to reflect their true self, their unique value, their brilliance, so they can authentically attract their ideal clients, resulting in making way more money and having way more fun in their business. Now, I find that most women entrepreneurs are not getting support, the necessary training, or tools they need to be a confident leader for their business, causing their business to struggle. Or they attend training events, get some information, get inspired, and then they get back to their office the next day, back to the daily grind, and they don't know where to begin or what to focus on. Sound familiar? Well, what if you can get the support, training, tools, access to a global community of like-minded women entrepreneurs to help you create your profitable dream lifestyle business step by step? Well, my friend, you now can. I have created a program that will propel you in your business to a whole new level of success with no fluff. It's time to stop talking about how good your business should be, start making it happen. In this program, you will get access to proven business strategies that will help you implement step by step so you can transform your business from a traditional hours for dollars model that feels like work to one that is fun and generates a leveraged stream of income. The program I created for you is called the Silver Lining Success Academy. So if you are a success-minded woman, is an action taker, and you're ready to align with your purpose and natural flow of running your business, operate your business like an empowered CEO and inspired leader, you're ready to learn and implement effective business strategies to drastically increase your revenue, you're ready to get the accountability, peer, and mentor support you need to stay inspired and on track, and you're ready to make a huge impact by sharing your unique gifts with the world, ready to make your dream a success, fulfilling, makes a difference, pays you generously, and you're ready to have fun. Because if it's not fun, don't do it. So, what does the Silver Lining Success Academy do? Well, you're going to get access to private membership training portal. You're going to have access to monthly training modules covering everything from mindset, your target audience, Would you like to join me in this incredible community? Would you like to learn the exact steps to design your profitable dream business that you love? Well, come on then. Let's take the first step together. And don't worry, you only have to pay me $1. Just jump in the Silver Lining Success Academy, check it out for 30 days, and try it out. And if you're loving it, you can save for only $197 per month. If you're not loving the fun, then you can cancel at any time and not be charged another cent. I'm very confident that you're going to love it. There's no fluff, just doing it. You have an opportunity to get the same product or service you're already using at a lower cost without incurring any additional risks. You should always do it. For example, an Academy membership at $197 per month has an annual cost of $2,364. It's a bargain. But if you were given an opportunity to prepay for the entire year for only $1,536, saving you $828 in the process, that's a 35% discount. And your 30-day risk-free trial still applies. Then you should absolutely say yes to that offer. That's just called smart business. So let's do that. The bottom line is that if you're going to get the full value from this program, then you get an amazing business testimonial, which is what I want. You need to be here for the entire year. So right now, I'd like to give you the opportunity to upgrade to annual Academy membership for just one single payment of $1,536. That's a 35% discount off the normal monthly price, which is a savings of $828. You'll never be billed again, and you can pick up on this offer without any risk whatsoever, because you still have the next 30 days to make sure that the Silver Lining Success Academy exceeds your expectations. If it doesn't, I'll give you a full, no questions asked refund. So to recap, when you register for the Silver Lining Success Academy, you're going to get access to my step-by-step training portal, where you'll be equipped with the tools, training, and guidance to save you countless hours of trial and error. You're going to learn the exact steps to take to build your profitable dream business. You're also going to have access to our bi-weekly member-only office hours, where you'll have access for 90 minutes every other week to Megan and other expert guests to answer any strategic or technical questions you may have. Then you are going to also be invited to become a member of our Silver Lining Success Academy VIP Lounge, our private Facebook group where you can ask questions, get feedback, be supported, and celebrate your wins. When you join the Silver Lining Success Academy, you'll be invited to connect with other brilliant women in our members-only region-based accountability catch-ups with members located in a city near you. And then finally, you're going to be a VIP customer. While you're a member of this program, you're going to receive a 40% discount on all of my online training programs and 20% off all one-on-one programs or live events such as VIP days and retreats. So let's do this together. All right, so this is what I'm so excited about. My team and I have been working on this for nearly a year now, because I have found that people want that continued success and support. So, going through a program or listening to this training or that training is helpful, but how do you get that ongoing support that you need, and then really having access to very specific strategies, like behind the scenes, like how do you actually set up a sales funnel? How can you get a hold of my actual sales funnel and just use the same one and tweak it so you're not having to reinvent the wheel or figure anything out on your own? How do you get access to my actual email content and be able to tweak it and make it your own? Like really making it super simple and easy. So again, you don't have to figure it out on your own. That was the thought behind developing this academy, but then also having that support of other like-minded women in the community to get feedback from, to get love from, to be able to share and connect with. Also super powerful. So I would love to invite you to join us here at the Silver Lining Success Academy. So when you click the link, then you will actually be taken to this page here. So you can get all of the specifics. Everything that I shared in the video is broken down, you know, specifically who this is for, what we're going to do in the program, what your success is expected to be, all of the inclusions and benefits of the program. And then what's nice is I break it down with the training modules, what you're going to be focusing on each month. So as a bonus, that is our initial start, is like creating that empowered mindset and getting a clear vision for your business. Some of what we worked on in this training, but a lot of other things that we go deeper on. But then first month, you're going to be diving into the first module, which is all about really creating your offerings that are working in your brilliant zone, and pricing your services and your product value ladder, how to create a high-end program. So you can see we get into some very meaty stuff and very specific action steps on how to do this. So I won't go through all of this. You can go through this on your own. But I break down all of the 12 modules. And then you also will have your two options here. So you can do option one, which is the best deal, $15.36. Or you can do the month-to-month membership for $197. So you get to pick which option you want to select. So you have your two options there. And then when you click the button, it just kind of walks you through what is the next steps to secure your spot in the program. All right, so let me go back to the site here. All right, so just so you know specifics, we are launching the program, starting it on May 1st. So remember, you can jump in now. You won't be charged until the beginning of the program. May 1st, your dollar, or it's probably going to be like the day before, you'll be charged $1. So you have your 30-day trial membership, and then after that, you're going to be charged either the month-to-month fee, or if you chose to take advantage of the 35% savings, then you'll be charged that fee. And you're getting actually more than 2 months free that route. So whatever way you want to go about it, we'd love to have you in this amazing program, which is really all about creating your profitable dream business and getting all the support you need to make that happen. So here's just a couple testimonials from some of my happy clients. Working with Megan has been fabulous. I definitely experienced a transformation that has given my business a new and exciting direction. After being stuck for a while, it was just what I needed to move forward in a positive direction. Within a couple of days of our session, my new mindset brought in a very successful job. I was able to see immediate results from Megan's coaching. I'm now very optimistic about the future of my business and looking forward to continuing with Megan and having more breakthroughs. This is one of my awesome clients, Annette, who is an organizing specialist. And then we have from Natalie Howe Designs, an interior designer. Owning a business can be overwhelming and it's easy to feel stuck in the weeds, unable to step back and see the big picture. I understand this, which is why so she was able to overcome obstacles. I don't know what the wording is here. Specifically, Megan has been instrumental in helping me establish my fees and value of services that I offer. Within a 60-day period, I was able to double my revenue. Her motivation and positive spirit are her natural born gifts, and her mentorship program is well thought out, and with topics ranging from having a healthy relationship with money to structuring a business for success. You're ready to commit to yourself and work hard, both mentally and physically. Let Megan guide you in the transformation. All right, so again, here is the link to join us in the Academy, which is a great next step to this program if you're wanting to get that continued support. And I want to leave you today with this very special, very important message. So we went through creating your vision, and you're able to start aligning yourself with how you can create this profitable business for yourself. But remember, at the end of the day, we all have a unique gift that we possess, a gift that we're meant to share. And when we do it, it allows us to truly be fulfilled and be of tremendous service to others. Now is your time to light that fire within you. Now is your time to shine and share your brilliance with everybody, right? So thank you so much for taking the time today. Congratulations for investing your time in today's training. And I hope that you have newfound clarity in your business. You know what to focus on, and how you can really start creating that lifestyle dream business that you set out to create, right? So those of you who are jumping on board in the Silver Lining Success Academy, I will see you soon. And until then, be courageous, take inspired action, and go out there and share your gifts with the world. Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us.